that I was watching Satsang every day since years, and I felt something is not right. It's like my attention still goes out to the source of where the satsang is coming from.
Away from.
Yeah, my intention goes out, and it became like a habit, or like a. I felt I can't do more from the same, which is just a habit. For years, every minute I have free time, I put my earplugs in and listen to some satsang, and I felt no, something has to.
And what you get from that?
I get a little bit of feeling of more spaciousness, more room in myself. So there was a kind of a change, but it was not permanent. It was really kind of dependent on this kind of exercise, listening to satsang. And I said, no, I can't do more from the same, which doesn't bring me lasting.
What would you say if you had to take one advice from me? If you had to take one exercise, one advice from me, which one would you take? If you only had a chance to take one advice, one pointer, and nothing more, and that has to serve you, tell me which one you would take.
Who am I?
Okay. Show me, work with that now and tell me why you would take this one. Show me what is good about that for you, what works for you. If the question, who am I, is asked, tell me, go to the whole purpose and the fruit, why you would choose this pointer, the question, who am I, why you would choose this one, above everything else that I have said to you.
Because there's no there's no thoughts needed. There's no thinking triggered. There's no analyzing. There's nothing.
But it's a question, no?
It's a
who
question.
am I?
Yeah.
It's
So
the question is, who am I?
Yeah.
So who am I is a question. Why is it a question? Really be with what I'm sharing. So that you can ask one thing today, and that will serve everybody, a buffet for everybody. So I'm not in a hurry. Just get to really what you would choose. The question, who am I? Very good. Why? Then you say, because when the question is put, my mind becomes quiet. And does it stay quiet? If it stays quiet, then what's the problem? If it stays quiet, if it doesn't stay quiet, what will you do?
Now it's quiet.
Then why did you start by telling me about something else? You told me my mind is going like this, and you almost say, I believe it was put like that you're putting your headphones on to listen to satsang almost as a kind of medication.
Yeah.
To just get out of the noise,
yeah.
which is useful up to a point. Yeah. But at some point you think, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
Take my headphones off, I'm back in the world again. So that's why I asked you which of my pointings or guidances do you find the most useful and effective. Of course, it's not a talisman. It's not like a magic charm. It is a friend to help you to look, and because nothing can just make you free, it has to be something that you resolve for yourself. No? Who am I is a question. Who am I is a question, you see. Why is it a question? Because it invites an introspection, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just, not a mantra. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? No. It is an invitation to an introspection. So what is this introspection? Why this question, who am I? Because I is your first knowing. Your most intimate reference is I. Or I am. I. That's the first thing. I. Everyone existing is the first, whatever language you speak, whatever you know, it starts with this I am. If that I am is not there, nothing else can come. You cannot have an experience without I. It's the I that seems to have the experience. So therefore, the I is the most important. Then the question, well, if that's the most important, because without I, there can be no other language. There's no whatever language. There cannot be any talk. There cannot be any development of idea. Why? Because all of them is for I. Isn't it? Simple, practical thing. Nothing so metaphysical. Just simple thing. No? So therefore, the ancient to the old and right to the new to the most current seekers of truth and discoverers of truth have asked the question, if this I is the beginning of language, what is this I? Because if you don't know that everything after I, you're going to get trapped in them, not realizing that all of them is for I. Just rest in it for a moment, see if it's true. All your relationships, all the knowledge, all experiences are for I. They report to I. Okay? What is I? That's the question. Who am I? Or what is I? Rather than subsequent to I, after I, there's too many things you can get lost in. I went to this, I think that, you believe this. After I comes you. You is secondary to I. Nobody starts with you. It starts with I. Who are you is based on to me. Who are you to me? Who are you? And the answer, I am so, I again. Everything is reporting to I. So this is the power of this question, because you brought it up. You say, I ask you, what is the most, if you could only choose one thing that you've heard from me that is of value to you, of all the things you may have heard me say, what is the most important? You responded powerfully. You say the question, who am I? You said, who am I? You didn't even say the question, you said, who am I? I said, why did you choose who am I? So whenever I bring the question to myself, you say, my mind becomes quiet. I say, does it stay quiet? It works to a certain extent. Then I ask you, why this question? Do you know? Why is it a question even? It's not a statement, it's a question. Who am I? Or what am I? That's the question. And I love your answer. I love rather your response. What am I? Who am I? It provokes an introspection. It's not a statement. So it's inviting you to check it out. Why, who am I and not who are you? Because there can be no you or others before I. I is the first. It's relative to I that the sense you come. Actually, there's no you, there's only I, actually. Because all beings are aware only of I. So you come in when the I takes another body to be another self. But all selves, including an ant or a worm, have the intuition I. They know that they exist. I means I am or I exist. It's a powerful response you gave, but you must probe into it. Before you touch who are you, who are they, that's secondary. Primary must be who am I. If you solve who am I, you will know who you are. Not who you are to yourself, but who you are in God. You will disquestion. That's how powerful. Who am I? Then, where is the answer going to come from? Normally when we ask a question, we ask it to someone else. But this question is not who are you or who are they, it's who am I? What is the response to this question? It's an introspection question. That's what I was asking you. Where do you go after this question arises in you? Because I must be at the root of all knowing. What is I? Who am I? You have to find out. Meaning that before anything else can come, I is there. What is I? I must be the experiencer. Before anything can be seen through the mind or the senses, it must report to this I. What is this I? It's there before everything else is the I. What is this I? This I, you may call it consciousness. Without consciousness, nothing exists or can be perceived. So all people are perceiving, now I'm saying report, I did this, I saw this person, I, they don't understand I. If you don't understand I, you don't understand anything else really. If you're told you're I, who are you? I'm John. It's enough. So for me, it's not enough. When you found out who am I, you have come to the very core of knowledge. Even I knows knowledge. I knows knowingness and ignorance. That's how powerful I is. What is I? And the answer I gave, I is consciousness. If you say I is conscious, you assume I is consciousness, you may go no further. It's just a mental response. You must find out then what is consciousness then. If I and consciousness are synonymous, what is consciousness? What is I? Can any verbal or intellectual answer satisfy this question? What is this I? Without I, there is no knowledge, there's no knowingness. There's not even awareness of God, because it's the I that is going to register knowledge. It's the I that's falsely associated with I am this body, and I am a person. The body is 40 years old, so I am 40 years old. This I is no age, but taken as a person, it would say, I am 40 years old, I'm a man, I'm from Brazil, I'm from this. Then all of that starts, because you confused your I with knowledge and all this stuff. That's what the power of this question. If you contemplate, if I is before anything else, so anything you see, this church, the trees, is all perceived by I. But if you take your I to be a person, the person may say, I don't like this type of tree. I prefer that kind of tree. That's the second, that's the, what you may call the false I, secondary I, the I of personhood. That's how powerful this question is. If you use this question, because I didn't tell you to ask this question, you found this question. If you follow this question, that everything else is secondary to I. So How does I know itself? It knows everything else, but they came after. Everything to I is else. What is I? What knows I? There's awareness of I also. What is I? If you got up at 7 o'clock this morning at 6:59, what was your state? No I. No I. Still you exist. But the I, which is consciousness, also arose. When the I arose, you say, I'm up now, I'm awake. And then the I, the functioning I, comes into play. Can anybody follow me? Anybody lost yet? Only when the I as consciousness arises, then the world, the sense of myself as a living entity, relationship, time, all that comes with the arising of consciousness. With the arising of I comes the world. The world is contained in the I. I, or I am, and consciousness or beingness are all synonymous together. If I arises, it cannot be the absolute. If I arises, then it must arise in something that did not arise. What is that? So I say that is something before I am. Now you need to listen to this for a minute because it's too important for another question. What is it that's prior to I? You cannot use your mind for this. If you hear that the very sense of conscious, like right now you know you're conscious. What is it that knows you're conscious? That cannot be known with your mind. Only thing you know that I'm aware of being conscious. Even someone, they fall off a tree and they lie down and, people help me, what can you do? I'm losing consciousness. Who is losing consciousness? So this is something that is not, your mind is not going to help you. The only way the mind can help you is to say, I can't go there. I myself am known. So what can know me? So we're not going to go into anything intellectual because everything I've said right now is any human being can feel this question and sit with this. Don't go to another question. Don't go to another thing. When a question stirs you up like that, don't pick up a secondary question. Stay with it. Even you say, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. Bear that for a moment. Because you have raised a question, or a question is raised in you that only the divine can take you there, can reveal something. And it's not a intellectual revelation. That's how your response is this morning. Contemplate. Because very often when we ask questions, it's on behalf and with the mind. The mind wants an answer. The mind's answer is never going to take you home. It's always going to take you to another position. Who am I is a contemplation. First of all, the mind is going to bring some possible answers. But the answers also are perceivable. Whatever is perceivable cannot be that which perceive it. Whatever is perceivable cannot be that which perceive it. So whatever comes through your mind or through the senses, it's not the ultimate. Can the ultimate be known? No, not with the mind. And if something cannot be known through the mind, how is it going to be known? So therefore I say, the ultimate cannot be known and it cannot be perceived. It is already there. Before knowledge comes, it is there. He said, but I don't know where to go from here. Even the sense, I don't know what to do with this, is also perceived. We are not yet able to bear our completeness. We want food for the mind. I am before the mind. The mind is not my enemy. It used to be. It still plays. I still have a dynamic activity and interest. I still operate. You have to be very careful about this operation. Because, of course, life, by realizing the self, your body doesn't just drop away and die. The senses don't go away. They're going to function. So all that's going to go. And you're going to have to be able to deal with that. And as a matter of fact, in fact, you're not dealing with it. You're going to use it as a mirror to keep reflecting. I am before this. But does not negating that, something is functioning in here. That realizing who you are, a functioning in the world still happens. Action, reaction, interactions are still happening. But they're not happening to you in quite the same way. It's happening to an idea that we may have of ourselves, but it's very different. Now, what I'm saying now, you must verify true experience. Otherwise, if you don't, you keep listening to me, and then it becomes all concepts. I'm only interested in a certain amount of concepts to take you beyond concepts. If we keep on talking with just concept after concept, we get full with concepts, because what I'm sharing with you is a very powerful concept to take you, to show you and reflect that which is beyond concept. But if you don't contemplate and be with this, then again your mind will avoid it and turn it into knowledge. The self doesn't need knowledge. It manifests knowledge as it's there. It manifests knowledge for when it expresses diversity and when it expresses individuality. That individuality needs knowledge, and the highest use of that knowledge is to reflect back that awareness which cannot be seen. It sees, but nothing can see it. And that's it. We must stop this video right now. Another question? Okay, but this is enough for now. An earnest seeker of truth will take this and go into your sleeping bag and meditate on this. Burn up in this. This would be good. Talking with other people about it is just another way of avoiding being the self you are. This. Mind wants to give phenomenal reflection. Yeah, this thing, oh yes, I see this too. Da, da, da. No, where I'm talking, end of those conversations. Believe those things now. Don't even have to throw them away. They can't come with you. If I say that your sense of I perceives the world, it is a consciousness that perceives everything in the world, all the movements of time and space, everything that comes through the mind and the senses are appearing as a movement inside this unchanging awareness, including even the sense of yourself as a person is phenomenally perceived inside this space of awareness. So all your experiences as reported to you in this I amness, as presence, a beingness, as consciousness, everything known to you, all your experiences, all your different lifetimes and experiences, memory, forgetting, everything is appearing in this consciousness. Then I say, but this consciousness itself appears. Some of you might say, yes, because prior to the arising of consciousness, I was maybe asleep in the phenomenal sense. Then the consciousness sprouts. Only when the consciousness appears, then the world and yourself and the world appears. That is the beingness. That is the presence. What about earlier than this presence? What is there something aware of this I am? This now, this question, mirror facing mirror. If I don't want any answer coming from your mind, you're going back into your mind. So that's why I say your question, the question who am I, is not a question to be given to the mind to answer a question. When you make answers from the mind, out of courtesy, I might talk to you and say, no, not this thing. what is going to answer this question? Not even an answer. It's not even an answer. What does two mirrors put in front of each other? What are they reflecting? The mind cannot tell you. It can procrastinate about something, but it cannot tell you. It cannot reveal this. So amongst teachings, this is a quintessential teaching. This could be final teaching because you don't need to know. Anything else is subsequent to this. Anything else is after the I come and then the sense of the person come and we're talking about that world. I'm pretty much done with that. What I share with you, try to grasp. If you don't grasp it, you may in your heart ask God, I am burning, but I don't know what about. I'm on fire, but I don't know what about. But don't put this fire out. Burn up what is the noise of me, and merge me with you. That question will begin to be answered by something metaphysical. Something different will come. Grace of God will come and help you. But you just keep your attention always. I need to transcend my ego mind. Help me to do this. I'll show you. Little by little, I'll show you.